Here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs unmatched, steaks hand cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Recently, we realized it's not just hurricane season that can hurt us. Any time of year, things can happen to your home or business. And the insurance company can be your friend, but they also can be your enemy. Horizon Public Adjusters, Justina Testa, are here for you to help this process go so much easier. Before you call the insurance company, call Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa at 954-809-8752. Would you go into court without an attorney? So why would you go up against an insurance company without Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa? 7 to 10 times more money recovered with a public adjuster than if you went on your own. If there's no recovery, there's no fee. Give them a call at 954-809-8752. Why go up against insurance companies alone when you can have Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa on your side?
Ric Flair, the world's heavyweight champion. I don't have to say a lot more about the way I feel about Ric Flair. No respect, no honor. There is no honor among thieves. He put hard times on Dusty Rhodes and his family. Daddy.
The only way to get your morning started is with Defo, joined by Lubie, right here on The Defo Show.
All right, this is kind of take two on the peel yourself off the mat Monday. I thought Louis was having to peel himself off the floor as it seemed like you fell down the stairs on your way to transition this into something that would not be as tragic as the beginning segment was, at least on your part. I thought I did all right, but, it's a little annoying when every time you say something, literally, we had the old snap, crackle, and pop. I thought it was back at one of those Steve Lappa stations, 640, 850. Oh, even, beyond that, I did do some time on the light bulb because there really is no station on the dial that I wasn't a part of at one time or another. I mean, it was just the way it went. Because somebody just posted our friend, and in fact, I met him in the Lappa Nation when I was in Radio Purgatory for a while, a guy named Carl, who was known as Slam, and he was a bit of a psycho back then, as a lot of people that are in the board operator mode tend to be, Lubie. I mean, you weren't exactly sane. You're more sane now, and you're crazy. By far, I mean, exponentially more grounded than you used to be when I first met you 12 years ago. You were throwing things and doing all kinds of crazy shit. It was unbelievable. But he had posted something on social media, on Facebook, to the effect of, what are some of the most common things that you heard when you were working in your days in radio? Not to me personally, but just to radio people in general, okay, which there are many on social media. And, it seems like you're in that same circle of friends, much like the 85,000 people that are hungry that are subscribers to Mike Mayo's thing with the Sun-Sentinel, Let's Eat South Florida, which is spectacular. I mean, think about that, 85,000 people. So I don't know. There must be at least 100 or two radio folk that I see frequenting social media there. And I just put up the most obvious one, which is the last thing that you ever wanted to hear, and that is, we're going in another direction. Right? How many times did I hear that? Right? Enough already with this new direction. Take me with you. I function in a new direction.
That's literally, when they said that to me, I said, I can't go in that direction too?
Yeah. Which way are you going? Right? Left? I could go
in
either
every
way.
direction. Why are we changing now?
Spent my entire basketball life going left, even though I'm right-handed. I could do it.
I'll go either direction, damn it.
Yeah. That whole move, though, by me was predicated on the fact that A, I loved Earl of Pearl Monroe, and B, we played on a basketball court where there was no right. So you had to, there was a wall there. Like you had 2 feet to the right. You could take the, one-step jumper and fire it up there, or zip around to the left side there, which was always my move. But yeah, they never want to take you with them when they go in another direction, no matter how. I mean, and usually the direction is straight down. I mean,
I was gonna say it wasn't a better direction.
right into the fucking toilet. It's just unbelievable. I was thinking about that on my walk of life the other day. I was like, how do radio management people? I don't know if it's as true in TV. It probably isn't. Because my television experiences were not nearly as bozoic in terms of the decision making from upper level management as you got in radio, and you tended to have less contact with the upper level management people in television. I think that's also a truism. They were more distant. They weren't necessarily people that you ran into every day, and they gave you that dirty look, like, "What are you doing here?" Didn't you feel that way when we were walking into the radio station? We walked by the management office, like, "What are you doing here?" Like, I've only been here for 10 years, man. I'm like, I thought I was one of your stars.
They're always shocked. Like, oh, hey.
Yeah. Wait, what are you doing here? Oh, you stuck around for 5 seconds after your show, huh? Like I'm going to be able to improve on the show by sticking around for like 2 hours after. Hey, let's listen back to that second segment. I think we made a few mistakes there, Lubie.
There you go. Please.
That's my other least favorite saying, a cliche that comes out of sports today. We have a few things, and you're going to hear this a lot. This may be the number one preseason cliche now. I know Mayo loves this stuff too.
Yeah.
We have a few things we need to clean up.
Thank you.
Yeah, like your ass.
I hope so.
You left a stench over the entire city the other night there when you lost 31-0 to the Falcons.
Philbin would say that. It's like, dude, you lost by 15 and you played the Jets and they're winless. I hope you have something to clean up.
That's the new buzzword for like we suck.
Exactly.
Well, what do you think about your team's execution? As McKay said, I'm in favor of it. I think that would be something that you would typically hear. I think from Mike McDaniel, right? Or any coach now. I mean, especially these new hipsters, right? Like Sean McVay. Yeah, we have a few things we need to clean up, but we're going to get right to it, right? It's like reaching bull. What's that?
McDaniel's correct. McDaniel actually will give you McDaniel's pretty specific. That's one thing I give McDaniel is he doesn't beat around the bush a lot.
He has a weird look in his eye, like Tony Perkins, though, doesn't he? In one of his movies. There's a weird look in his eye, like he was Jimmy Pearsall in Fear Strikes Out. Like,
It's like psycho.
It's not Adam Gase eyeballs, which we didn't even know that Adam Gase had those eyeballs. How was it we had Adam Gase coaching here for what? Was he here 4 years or 3 and a hook?
It's
4 years? Or was it more? I don't even know.
It's 4.
But it was, a completely unmemorable period of time in Dolphin history where every day we fielded 1,000 questions. You think Ryan Tannehill's a franchise quarterback? I'll hang up and listen. No, hang up and kill yourself. He's never going to be a franchise quarterback. Never.
Look, eventually you were like, if we're still asking that in year 7, I think we have
everybody tried so hard to make this guy something that, he really wasn't. All right. It's okay. He did all right with Tennessee as long as he doesn't have to pass the ball in a clutch.
Exactly.
He's great.
15 times. He's your man.
And a good guy. I mean, look, he accepted you. Here you are, a poor schlep. Honing in on his personal appearance, where he's no doubt getting paid like $5,000, but you need the 400 desperately that they're giving you for doing nothing but showing up at a place. Nobody knows who you are. A couple of people, hey, you're Lubie. Hey, I recognize the voice, and that's it. Meanwhile, Tannehill is swamped. His hand is cramping from signing autographs. They're handing him a bottle of water. He's schwitzing, and you're just sitting there going, maybe I'll buy a tennis racket while I'm here.
That's honestly how it went.
I always had a tough time killing time when I was a meaningless, attachment on one of those remote broadcasts where there was an athlete there that everybody came to see, and then there was like me.
That was me.
You're in like Macy's or something in the cologne section, and you're set up there, and people are lined up out the door to get the Beezer's autograph, and you're thinking, well, what the hell am I going to do? You're shopping. You go out to a place outside. I'll be back in a few minutes. I'm just going to get something to drink, right? Meanwhile, you're at the local bar, while you're collecting your
Exactly.
300-400.
Just left.
Tannehill turned you on to one of those things, and you still hated him, Louis. That was the amazing thing.
I didn't hate him. I'm sure he's a fine human being. I was just honest about what he is as a quarterback. I don't know why that's such a tough thing. Like, the guy he's fine, but he's not a franchise guy. You said it. Like, it's just not. He never was.
He has his moments, but he's flawed. Which,
Yes.
I mean, that could be true
Aren't
of
we all?
everybody in athletics.
Yes.
But it was unfortunate that he just wasn't quite it. And I think, the people in Tennessee have sort of discovered that, although, I mean, he's done well over there, has he not? It was a shocker when he turned out to actually be a good quarterback after being with the quarterback whisperer, which is why it's so strange to sit there and act like you're some kind of football expert, where people are telling you that Adam Gase is the guy. If he can't make this guy a better quarterback, nobody can, right? The minute he gets away from Gase, he's great. Gase leaves in disgrace. And, wow. I mean, I can't believe the guy was here 4 years, but we never knew he had those eyes, did we, Lubie?
No,
Where did he get those eyes that he had at the Jet press conference when literally he looked like he was hanging out with Aaron Rodgers down there in where was it? Peru, where he was hanging out doing the peyote buttons.
Where was it? Aruba? Where was it?
It was some exotic location that you have to get to by camel. I mean, come on. You're hearing drums in the background. I mean, smoke signals are the means of communication. And there's Aaron Rodgers, NFL MVP quarterback. One of the all-time greats. Hey, I'll have some of that. Raj hasn't said anything about that, has he, Roger Goodell?
Nope, not one word.
This Josh Gordon has to be just screaming, absolutely seething mad. Thinking, here's Aaron Rodgers looking like the second coming of Timothy Leary. And, this guy has been suspended like more than half his career because he smoked a couple of joints. Got to be kidding me. Ricky Williams crucified. But not a peep. Nothing said by the NFL offices. They're not at all concerned that Aaron Rodgers is on psychedelic drugs.
No, they made a mention.
Zero concern?
He openly admits to it, too. That's what's great. Like, the weed people are like, I didn't do weed. He's like, yeah, I was on everything. Peyote, LSD, acid. It was a good time. Thank God for LSD. You kids.
Guy's showing up with a syringe in his arm. I mean,
what the fuck?
Just crazy stuff, right? That guy Robbins had nothing on, and he had serious mental illness issues. This guy's just inducing it himself, but Raj doesn't care, right? Because he's seen the light. He became a better player. So why would Raj give a flying one about that? Inconsistency. That's the thing that fans get the most upset about, isn't it? Yep. Just the inconsistent behavior that's taking place. Meanwhile, the umpires are going more and more blind. Guys are getting thrown out right and left in baseball games all around the big leagues. And some of the calls, really, I mean, just atrocious. Aaron Boone had a good beef yesterday. I mean, some of these ball and strike calls in the St. Louis game. I mean, you watch it and say, how could the guy make the same blown call? At least he was consistent. I guess people always say that about officials. Well, as long as they're consistent. Well, if you're consistently bad, though, I mean, it's time to seek replacement.
See, I'm not going to lie. I've actually doing the coaching thing, and we finally finished our season.
Yeah.
We lost the semis game. We won the third place game. So we finished third place. The reason we lost the semi game, and I had the league guy there because the team we were playing had literally, and we didn't even talk about this. So before my first round playoff game, this team is uber physical. Like, the kids punch, the kids kick, like stuff I've never seen in basketball.
Wow.
So the other team got so sick of it that at the end of the game, the parents fought. The parents got on the court.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm surprised it wasn't on SportsCenter. Like, they were fist
I
fighting.
love this. Yeah.
Wow. So I thought it was just crazy parents because my parents are really good, but a lot of these teams, the parents are insane. Like, they're really crazy. Come to find out, no, the parents were sick of the kids punching their kids and the refs doing nothing about it, that they lost it. And I sort of can't be mad at them about it. So we played that team that did all the punching in the semis. We talked about it before the game. I gave the ref a heads up. Didn't matter. They were punching and kicking my kids the whole game. Refs were never calling it. My kids would look at a kid, they call a foul. I'm looking at the league guy who's next to me. He's like, you're right. You're not wrong. Like, it's the old dude who was by himself, but there's nothing I can do. So we lost because of that, like 100%. And like, this guy eventually got suspended. So it's like, what I've learned
You
from
think there is betting on these games?
that's what Shirley thinks. Shirley thinks.
No, it's possible because that was a big thing in South Florida where they were betting on like Pop Warner football. There was like some betting ring that was busted up by Nick Navarro.
Shirley was
And they were sending in big money on like high school football.
I don't know.
Crazy shit. Yeah.
What I've learned is I actually, if a ref's bad, at least be bad both ways, right? Like, if he was letting my team get away with murder, I probably wouldn't care too much. But they would kill my team. My team would flick a guy and they'd call the foul and the other team wouldn't get it. So I'd rather you be good, but at least if you're going to be bad both ways, which is never the case. It's usually bad.
I would say this, though. You're expecting too much there. You've got the bar set too high because, in my experience, recreational basketball referees were far and away the worst officials ever. I mean, just doing things that defied all logic in addition to being blind and, usually with a heavy bias one way or the other.
Yeah.
They love to call 3 seconds, which, that was always a thing.
That's stupid as call.
They love to call 3 seconds, which you never see called anywhere. But, listen, if it's blatant after a while, like my friend David Glazer that I've talked about that used to just hang in the lane. And you're like, you got to step out of there once in a while, man. You can't just hang out under the basket and then call every foul. I mean, that's disgusting when that happens, right? The guy is parked in the lane. You have no choice but at some point but to bump into the guy because he's not even supposed to be there. And then anytime they go up with a shot that had no chance, not even a prayer of going in, I got it.
Oh, no way.
Oh, no. I mean, and that's in a self-calling thing. When you get to recreational referees, as was the case when I was playing in that, I guess it was a 30 and over league at the David Posnack Jewish Center many years ago. This was, it first opened up. They had a nice little indoor court and a fairly well-run league. But the worst officials, right, where you would get fouled during a shot, the shot would go in, but they would not count the basket and send you to the line. Like that's not possible, right? If I'm fouled in the act of shooting and the shot goes in, then it counts. But you couldn't explain it to these guys. I mean, the simplest of rules, and they would, let blatant travels go like they were NBA officials, and then at the same time call some ticky-tack bullshit.
Yep.
Like an 8-second violation, even though it was like 8.1 seconds, and you finally got the ball over the stripe, but it took them 4 seconds to hand you the ball, and they counted that in the first place.
Yep. Yeah.
No. Recreational basketball officials probably the worst. Should we have more respect for these people, or just expect that they would actually have some small level of competence?
Oh, no, I lost it. The guy, because he's ref for years, and I guess he runs the ref. I guess they work with a ref company, and he runs it. But he's been doing it for 20 years. And the guy's, I think, in his 70s. So I said to him, I'm like, dude, that was horrible what you just did. I'm like, I'm sorry, but you were calling double dribble on my team and letting them walk with it. Like,
what would constitute a double dribble in this 8-year-old league? Where you bounce the ball and pee on it at the same time?
No. He was calling, like, my one kid's really good, but he will dribble and pick it up in the game constantly.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well,
and that's fine. That's illegal. But the other team would run with it. And he wouldn't call it. I'm like,
that's what my dog does every time I attempt to play basketball with Skippy.
Skip, come on. You got to keep
Come on, Skip. You got to leave the ball if you want me to throw it. Oy vey. Yeah, but I mean, your expectation was too high. If you're expecting any level of competent officiating in a recreational game at any age, it doesn't matter if they're like little kids or adults. I've always found the officiating to be, not even borderline atrocious, just completely, you're expecting the dumbest calls possible. And you'll be able to talk about them over a few beers maybe later if you can get over yourself and realize that who cares if you lost a game at the David Posnack Jewish Center when you were 32 years old, as long as I had 30 and it shows up in the box score. And what is that paper? It's not Shalom today. What the heck? The Jewish Journal.
The Jewish Journal.
Jewish Journal.
Should be in the Jewish Journal.
I wanted to make the box score in a Jewish Journal. That was one of my goals as a recreational basketball player. So I would cherry pick like I was Pavel Bure playing for the Panthers and just hang out at the other end of the basket. They'd fire it down the court, small court, boom. The corner was only about a 17, 18-footer, boom, all day long. Never looked to anybody under the basket or anything of that nature because you wanted to have like maybe even a little headline there in a Jewish Journal. DeForest goes for 31. Team loses by 6.
That was your dream. To be on the front of the
Like I was Kareem Abdul, fucking
like,
Jabbar.
like the 100 points. You hold up the thing.
There it is. All right. Speaking of which, and this is for our good friend Jim Sarney, who's always citing television listings and what's on TV. And I'm going to speculate as to this, Lubie, and I believe this to be true, that the second most crooked sport in the history of all sports is about to become fully in focus on ESPN over the next several weeks. And that would be, the number one most crooked sport, obviously, is the Tour de France, no?
Oh.
Is there anybody there that isn't on the juice, right? Nobody. They hand out syringes as you're going out for the time trial. Just, okay, go ahead. Nobody could do this. Nobody's riding a bicycle up the incline of the Pyrenees unless they're on something. Maybe, psychedelic drugs would be more appropriate, but, you're going to pull both hamstrings before you get 3 feet up. They're riding straight up in the air. Please, give me a break on that. Second most crooked sport in the universe.
Synchronized swimming.
No, you would think
Is that
maybe.
crooked?
I'm sure it's not on a level.
Synchronized swimming. Like you're like.
Oh, there has to be some bribery involved in that. Yeah. No, it's Little League Baseball. Second most crooked sport. No.
When they do the World Series, and they have the 25-year-old.
Yeah.
He drove there with his kids.
Guy's got a ZZ Top beard, and he's got a bat that, would make Nellie Fox's bat look like a toothpick. And, he's schlepping that up to the plate. And, the same guy also is pitching and throwing balls at the equivalent of 110 miles an hour. And these poor little kids, these poor little schminks from, Fresno, are going up against this guy from Long Island who has also got mob connections. And,
it's not every team. You'll get the teams from Kansas or Kentucky where they're on the level, and then the teams from New York come.
Yeah,
they're union workers.
It's like Staten Island when they had Danny Almonte. He drove his car there, and he had a better car than the president of the Little League.
Exactly,
unbelievable. All right, so hey, Mac, you're in my space, right? Oh, hey, Danny, you pitching tonight? I think you won 3 innings last night. Is that okay? And those cockamamie rules where a guy, can only pitch a certain number of innings, that's all bogus, too. You may want to joke. Does every kid have to play in the Little League World Series? Does every kid have to play? No?
I don't think so. I don't think that's recreation rules.
Yeah, it's always interesting because there's usually one team from America where the smallest kid on the team looks like A-Rod when he was coming out of high school.
It's usually the Northeast. I'm not trying to be mean. It's usually the Boston or New York.
Yeah.
Philly.
They're all wearing memorials to Whitey Bulger. Because some of his people are sponsoring the team there. Some of them have already done time.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say they're doing chewing tobacco. They have that tat on their thing of their number,
got like a prison tattoo. Yeah. Anyway, that's going to be all over ESPN, Little League Baseball. So now, is that exploitation of kids by ESPN? Yes. Is it good for them? What do you think? All of this Little League Baseball that they have on there. And I always like it. That they have the guy's favorite sandwich. Mayo will appreciate this. It's like a peanut butter and jelly. And you're thinking, how old is this guy? 8 years old, 47 pounds. His mother's in the crowd there, and she's a babe. And that's the only reason that you're watching this shit, right? I loved Little League Baseball when I was playing it. I didn't start out playing Little League Baseball because I lived in Brooklyn. There was no Little League. And then at 11, I moved to Long Island, and I couldn't believe it, right? We're wearing uniforms to school if you had a game that day.
Yep.
Yeah, it was so exciting to be part of some kind of organized baseball. Officiating in that wasn't exactly on the level either, I would have to say. And it was always the coach's son who was horrible, but would end up playing shortstop and leading off. Really? You couldn't really scream about it, could you? Because then you might compromise your chances of playing. I actually wanted to be like a catcher back then when I first came into Little League, but then I realized there was too much pain associated with the job and not enough glamour, right? Pitchers were getting the chicks, the home run hitters.
Yeah, pitcher. Yeah, you want to be a pitcher or first base. That's really the move. It's easy.
And the catching job should have been for the fat kid, no?
Yes, I was going to say. I don't know if we ever had a kid that wasn't the fat kid do catcher.
That could be the name of my book when I put it together. Fat Kid in Right Field. Because there was always the fat kid in right field. That's where that originated. Now, you don't see that in modern-day Little League. They got guys that play like Roger Maris out there.
Yep.
I mean, how is this possible that these kids are that good? Plus, to run to first base, relatively short. I'm amazed they throw anybody out on a ground ball. It's kind of like, what, the same distance? What, did they use Little League distance for the bases in women's softball? How far are the bases apart there?
I don't think so.
What are the bases, like 40 feet in Little League?
Little League?
The Little League pitching distance wasn't much to navigate either.
Oh, no, it's a joke. Yeah, it's like a joke.
Yeah, I don't know how any of these kids get a hit. But that's coming up. And I'm looking at the schedule here. Jim Sarni, I love that. It starts at like 9 a.m. with the New England Regional. Maine versus Massachusetts. When did they get to the juicy teams here? Now, you got some Southern teams. Are they on a? They can't be legit, these Southern teams, because they don't know when these kids were born or who they were born to that are playing on the Southern Little League teams. Is that an unfair stereotype? What do you think?
Maybe. I mean, Andy was referencing your cousin or something last week, talking about, and he was talking about like Virginia, not Virginia. What was he talking about? He was talking about somewhere that's not even that south. I'm like, what are you talking about? That's not West Virginia. So, I don't know. I leave that to you.
All right, so there are no less than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games of Little League baseball on ESPN today.
Oh, Jesus.
Imagine that. You would think it was like Christmas Day and it was the NBA.
It was NBA.
How much of this shit can you watch? I mean, it does give you some throwback memories to being in the Little League. So, and that was fun. It was a glamorous period of time, right? Where you would show up to school in your Little League uniform, even though the game was going to be probably 12 hours later, something like that. Because, they played, night games. It was unbelievable. You're playing under the lights. It was fantastic. No fence, though, too. I always liked that. So that, like, if you hit a ground ball and it went through the shortstop's legs, it also, cleared the gap between the left and center fielder who were confused. They would end up colliding, and the ball would roll all the way to the school. It was one of my favorite things that occurred in Little League baseball. Doesn't happen at Williamsport, though. It's Williamsport, right? Not Williamsburg. Williamsburg is a thing out of Brooklyn, where a lot of Hasidic Jews were living. All right, we're coming back with more here. Jeff DeForest, Mike Lubie. It's the Defo Show. The Gambling Gourmet has his own show, 12 o'clock. It's a big hit, especially with the Let's Eat South Florida crowd. So, as you might imagine, and I don't know what adventures he had over the weekend, Mike Mayo. He said, and you'll find this surprising, Lubie, that he was going to go into a complete 48-hour degenerate mode, as he had done the previous weekend. And then he told us a horrible story to the point where, Big Al doesn't have a weak stomach, and both of us had to just tell him to stop.
No, really? With what?
His medical exam.
Oh, no. What? Yeah, it's so weird because he keeps bringing it up. He's like, I don't want to tell you the graphic. I'm like, thank you. Like, why do you have to say that part? Like, were you going to?
It wouldn't be appropriate on a lunchbox. It would not.
But I'm saying, like, who would? Like, he really wants to tell us the ordeal. I don't want to know. I love the man.
He got into some detail there. And think Pulp Fiction. Bruce Willis. Probably had a better time.
Like, why? Don't tell me. Don't. It's okay. I don't even know.
All right. We're coming back with more. There's a lot of football on tap also. So, and I don't know what to make of it. The Dolphins are favored in their preseason opener on the road against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh, Jesus.
What do you make of that? Is that Mike McDaniel trying to establish a winning attitude? Is that the thinking of the people that are going to be wagering on this shit?
No, please.
Called preseason football.
No.
Do you have a better chance of winning a preseason game? Here's a good survey question for you. A better chance of winning a bet on a preseason game, a regular season game, or there really is no difference in betting you have a 50-50 chance of winning.
50-50 chance no matter what, but I just feel like handicapping-wise, I just don't know what you're handicapping. I mean, unless you're one of these guys that knows college football so well that you know the third-string guy that's going to be the starter in this game, like to me, the Greek loves it, and we'll get the Greek on. I'll get him on this week so he loves talking preseason, and I don't get it. Like, I try to watch it, and every year it lets me down. It frustrates the crap out of me.
There are people that can't wait for these preseason games because they consider it an annuity. So what's up with the Ravens? That would be the one thing. Now, do they finally go in another direction, as they say in radio, and start losing these preseason games? Because they've been dynamite under John Harbaugh. Seems to have some kind of priority about winning preseason games, which most coaches really don't care, although they pretend to care. The Ravens are 4-point favorites over the Tennessee Titans in their preseason opener, which is Thursday night. It's one of two games on Thursday night. So many people will be counting the days. Here we are, Monday. They can't wait to get to Thursday. Let's get rid of Tuesday, Wednesday, straight to Thursday to see the Patriots and the Giants. Wow, this Brian Daboll says he's going to play some of his starters in that first preseason game. That was the big headline today in the New York Post when they got to the coverage of the Giants. Starters will see playing time in the preseason opener. What do you think? Would you play a starter at any time? I get. Do you have to? I mean, how much rehearsal do these guys need if they're every day together in practice? Do they really need to go out there and play a game? What do you think? Should they just eliminate the preseason altogether? I mean,
it's fine, but then take it serious. Like, I don't know what to do with it. Like, have two games and have them play. Like, this stuff where now the guys don't play the entire preseason. Like, you hear about it before. So-and-so won't play the entire preseason. It's like, then how important is it? If your best players don't even try to play there, then have camp and you figure out your backups. Like, have something that we'll get to see something worthwhile, or don't have it.
Dayball, starters will get time on Thursday night. Maybe a new philosophy of preseason playing time will break the streak of miserable regular season starts by the Giants.
Miserable.
Well, they're a lousy team. I mean, so of course they get up to lousy starts. They get off to lousy starts. They're lousy in the middle of the season, and they're lousy at the finish. At least that couldn't be said about your Miami Dolphins, Mike Lubie. Your Miami Dolphins did, a noble job of redeeming themselves from the most horrendous starts in the history of the NFL. I mean, you have to go all the way back to leather helmets before you could find something as atrocious as the Dolphins start under Brian Flores in year number 1 of his coaching tenure here. When they were 0-7, and I mean they were just so bad. I mean there was talk of contraction. Never mind Stephen Ross selling the team. Just get rid of the team. Go with 29. What do we need 30 teams for if one of them is going to play like this? It was awful. I mean, you could have brought a CFL team in, a Canadian Football League team in, and they probably could have done as well or better than the Miami Dolphins did in those first many games under Flores. And then they come back and they win 5 of their last 9. That was amazing.
Yep.
Amazing with Fitzpatrick throwing the ball. The guy, I mean, he was clearly a shot fighter years before, but he goes out there and he's having such a good time. And these guys are making miracle plays. Devontae Parker looked like a real guy. I mean, it was incredible. Now with the Patriots, watch out, Louie.
I know. He's their number one threat. It's like, thank God. Works for me.
Mac Jones, over-under 23.5 touchdown passes this year.
Over. I mean, look.
Over?
Yeah, I think that assessment's right. I think they're going to be worse, and I think he'll be okay. Like, I don't think he sucks. I just don't think he's like this lighted on fire guy. I think he's an average starter, career backup is what I think Mac Jones is.
How do you feel about like a defensive guy, somebody that's been on the defensive end of things his entire career, all of a sudden becoming like the offensive coordinator? Doesn't that strike you as being a little bit weird?
Look, we've seen these guys know every end of the game. If you're great defensively, look, Bill Belichick for all
Matt Patricia, right, with the pencil in his ear. I mean, I always liked that because it looked like he was one of the guys used to work at the grocery store that I went to in Brooklyn, right? But he would add everything up on the brown paper bag. Boy. Talk about that prehistoric, Loopy. Imagine this. Never mind self-checkout. Yeah, the guy used to take a pencil out of his ear there, and they would write down 29 cents, $1.03, 38 cents.
Jesus.
And then draw a line under it and do long addition. Carry over the 6. And you'd give the guy like $17.50 for like 6 bags of groceries. It was amazing. Walk out of there like this, one on your head as you were walking back to your place. Not the case anymore, right?
Oh, no.
But Patricia, he had the pencil in his ear, and I always loved that because it was a throwback thing with me. And yet he was supposed to be this defensive genius. And then, unfortunately, genius is easily eclipsed by signing on with the Lions.
Yes.
It's like signing your own death warrant, in terms of your career. You're going back to being an assistant, and you will never be a head coach again anywhere. I don't know. Is that true? Lions coaches, they go there to die, don't they? I mean, that's
Caldwell was actually good as a coach and can't get another gig.
Yeah.
Because of the
that
Lions.
Could be another issue, yeah.
It could be a black guy thing, but still, the Lions thing doesn't really endear you to the rest of the league. They usually stay away.
You're doomed to failure. I mean, no matter what kind of personnel they have there, you're never going anywhere. Super Bowl, forget about it, right? I mean, you would have a better chance of resurrecting sales of the Edsel than trying to win a Super Bowl in Detroit. What was wrong with the Edsel? I don't remember exactly.
I don't know.
Was it kind of like
way before my time?
What is that? The Hindiger? The blimp that was too big.
Hindenburg.
Yeah. What am I talking about? I'm thinking about a lineman from the Saints.
Exactly.
All right. We're coming back with more. David Furones, outstanding young gentleman. I really like David, and he's done a great job. Lubie first came in contact with David Furones when he was covering the Hurricanes for the South Florida Sun-Sentinel, and then he got promoted up to the Dolphins beat, which I'm assuming is a promotion, right? You're on the pro level. I mean, that's fantastic. So he's been out there sniffing it out at training camp. We'll get some insight into the local team here and see what he thinks. All raves coming out of Dolphins training camp about Tua and his ability to throw the bomb, my friends. The bomb. That was the one thing, I mean, that he just did not have. Well, a couple of things. But, people were very concerned. Did he have the arm? Did he have the accuracy? And it could be a question of, did he have the time, Lubie? The time?
Exactly.
Which we will address here in just a second. I want to tell you about Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill, though. And that's mile marker 104, the Overseas Highway in Key Largo. And just a great spot. A lot of people heading down to the Keys there, making it a little staycation here. And it's such a nice getaway, right? Even from the stifling heat and humidity that we experience. I mean, just a couple of hours I spent on a beach yesterday. Fantastic. You get a whole different vibe down there in the Florida Keys. It's great. And nobody is able to present that. I mean, they serve it up on a platter, that good vibe, at Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill. And the other thing they serve up is a lot of outstanding food, great cocktails, great atmosphere on the Bay side. You see the pictures when we run the ad for Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill with the great John Kajemi, who we're hoping to have back on the program here pretty soon here. Where is Kajemi?
I think next week.
Dodging the draft? Yeah. Where is he? Canada?
I think next week we're going to have Kajemi Man back on Mondays.
All right, that'll be good because we love John. And he's thorough, though. I mean, I tend to make my observations very quickly based on very little data and input. But, I mean, I think I have a little bit of an eye for it sometimes, right? Lubie, we've come up with some shit over the years that surprised a lot of people. Not much, but some.
I was going to say it wasn't a lot. Don't
Most of it's been total bullshit, like our selection of Jacksonville in the under in the Hall of Fame game. So far, we're 0-2. That's not a good start, is it? I feel like the Marlins. I feel like Don Mattingly. Just why don't you start the season with that's what the Dolphins could have done, during the Flores tenure. Just start the season like 0-5. Here you go. Don't even play these games. You're 0-5. Come in week number 6 and see what you can do.
They just make you.
It would have been great. Anyway, I mean, you can forget about all those problems, and anything that's going on in your life is going to be turned around, like a complete epiphany type of turnaround, like Aaron Rodgers had with the thing in Peru, where you open your eyes and all of a sudden it's a whole new day and you see life through a different perspective, rose-colored glasses as you're down there in the Keys, soaking it all in and getting great food and drink at Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill. That's mile marker 104, the Overseas Highway in Key Largo, just a little south of Florida City, Lubie. You saw how quickly we got there. You're like in Florida City, and then all of a sudden, there it is on the right. I said on the right.
Yep.
And you're like, kind of, I don't know that it sneaks up on you, but if you're looking for it, once, you know what you could do? I mean, from about 10 miles out, you could follow the aroma of like the Italian fisherman pizza and some of the other stuff that comes out of the kitchen there that Dominic Kajemi has created. And wow, I mean, very, very unique in terms of Keys dining. Great accommodations also, JimmyJohnson'sBigChill.com. Tell you all about that. Larry Calvano, what a great job. Live music all the time there. I don't know, do they do that during the week also? Or is it just a weekend? They rolled in, like 4 different bands while I was there during the course of the day. That was kind of nice, too.
Yep.
So, you're not, hearing that same guy drunk from the pool going, joy to the world, please, joy to the world. Really, again? They just played that. That was a big thing at bar mitzvahs and weddings when I was in union bands in New York there, right? They'd send you on, okay, I need a drummer in Freeport. So as long as you knew joy to the world, you were okay, man. They thought you were Ringo Starr. It was great. Anyway, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill. You'll get into goofy moods and have a good time there because you can really chill out. That's what it's all about there. Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill, mile marker 104, the Overseas Highway in Key Largo. All right, David Furones right around the corner here. We'll get into a little Dolphin Mania on the program. I'm Jeff DeForest. He's Mike Lubie Lubitz. You sound a lot better.
Thank God.
Since you made the switch, man.
It's stressing me out. I feel bad for my wife now. She's bitched about the internet before. I was like, it's fine.
Yeah.
And she does her job there, and it's all on the internet.
Where were you, dialing in from? A Russian
in
prison?
her office. It's just an office. Like you should be the things down here, but still, like it should work within the home. Like I feel really bad for her now. I'm like,
we could have got a better signal, literally, from Brittany Griner. Victor Boot for Brittany Griner. My God, the Merchant of Death.
It's so stupid.
And believe me, I am 1,000% behind the U.S. getting these people out of Russian prisons. I mean, especially in these cases where one guy, I don't know, he either claims he did nothing or he was working for the government. Why don't they care about him? Never did, right? His parents would call. You want to talk to Joe Biden? Hey, Joe, I got some lunatic on the phone. Like says her son's in prison in Russia.
They're laughing.
Joe?
Yeah. Exactly.
Unbelievable. All right, we're coming back with more with David Furones in a moment. Now that. It's 8:32. Ponies in Style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in Style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
Hey folks, Tony Segreto here. Since day one, Catholic Health Services has been part of Old School. And since we've started letting people know about them, it's changed their lives. You see, Catholic Health Services, while being recognized as one of the top places for stroke rehab in the country, it's also about a group of people who not just excel in what they do, from the doctors to the nurses to the therapist, on and on and on. It's how they do what they do every single day that separates them from the pack. They do it with a passion, unmatched, and the inclusion of family in every step of the process. Trust me when I tell you this. If you want the best, unmatched rehab with a special group of skilled, caring people, there is truly only one place, and that one place is Catholic Health Services.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar, and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Working all day in the...
On the local scene, the Heat, of course, making changes. I read a very encouraging article about the Heat's prospects. Not to win the championship so much, but to at least be a very, very big factor in the Eastern Conference, Mike Lubie Lubitz. You'll be happy to note that somebody actually agreed with your opinion.
A lot of people said that. They have an interesting team, and like you said, they're the toughest team in the NBA. You wouldn't want to meet this team down an alley.
No, I mean, this a team that's going to treat everybody the way Tyson treated Mitch Blood Green if they meet in an alley.
The best way to kick off your day is with Defo plus Lubie We now return to the Defo Show.
All right, welcome back to the show, the Defo Show here with Mike Lubie Lubitz on South Florida Live. Jeff DeForest and Mike Lubie Lubitz with you. And we bring on, and he became one of our favorites here on the programs that we've been doing over the years, whatever platform we happen to be using as an outlet at the time, and always very informative. And he's had his eye on everything that's happening in the Dolphins training camp. So with a little preview, we go to David Furones of the South Florida Sun-Sentinel, one of the Dolphin beat writers for the Sun-Sentinel. Or did you ace that other guy out? Are you the only guy on the beat now? David Furones, how are you, by the way, my friend?
I'm doing well. Always a flattering introduction from you guys. Thank you. Omar Kelly is on his way out. My colleague, he's taking a tremendous opportunity with I Am Athlete, an up-and-coming media platform. I know a bunch of their videos have gone viral, their interviews, Brandon Marshall and Chad Johnson. So he's joining there full-time. So for a little while, I'll be alone. I mean, I'll have Dave Hyde back writing some columns, I'm sure. And we'll be making a move for another Dolphins columnist pretty soon here. I would imagine before week one, before the NFL season gets started.
All right, we have our first preseason game. There have been a lot of different things being said, and the atmosphere, I guess, and the word that is coming out of this Dolphins training camp. I mean, it's always a time for optimism, in any sport before the actual season gets underway. But so far, we've been hearing nothing but raves. Is this an overreaction? And people want to, react to positive things. That's understandable. Fans get excited about it. The press is usually somewhat cynical, though. But what are you seeing there, David Furones? Is Tua all of a sudden a new man? Did he have an epiphany in the offseason? And what do you make of what's going on through the practice session so far leading up to this thing against Tampa Bay on Saturday?
I wouldn't go as far as saying an epiphany. I think he has compounded some of the things that we already knew he was good at the quarterback position, and then trying to fix a lot of the things that we saw were lacking in his game, whether it be the deep passing, which now we see a little bit more with Tyreek Hill and him connecting with that 60 yards in the air bomb over the top of the defense. That went viral last weekend, and just more consistency in the deeper throws, the ones that require a little more zip on the pass. He's always had the accuracy, anticipation, and being able to deal with the blitz, make decisions on the fly. He had to last season with that offensive line that was blocking for him, but now he should have improvements all around him. The team, it's really something that crossed over from the offseason where you're adding the playmakers on offense and then the running game and Tyreek Hill, Cedric Wilson at wide receiver, the trio of running backs, Mike McDaniel's system, Mike McDaniel's support in his quarterback that Tua felt he never really had from Brian Flores and his regime. So it's kind of a culmination of these things that have been put together in favor of Tua and the offense. And now we will see if it comes to fruition against other opponents, starting with some exhibition games. He'll get a few series for the first two games, and then the third preseason game, it's all backups. And then pretty soon here in about a month, it really gets going.
Okay, so, David, I understand it's just camp and it's just practice. I'd be the first person to say that, good or bad. But it feels like if Tua was missing these passes, we would be seeing it on SportsCenter. So, like you just said, we have to see it against other live competition, but it's not like Xavier Howard is dogging it out there. And it's not like Javon Holland is not giving his best. Like, we're seeing him. The pass he threw yesterday was pretty ridiculous. Like, in coverage, Xavier Howard, Javon Holland, 40 yards down the field, in stride to Tyreek Hill. Like, that's one that is an NFL in-game throw. What is most interesting to me is I actually believed he could do all this stuff, and I thought it was funny when people were questioning. What's interesting to me is his personality. This is a guy we have not seen, the guy that's going back and forth with reporters, the guy that is owning his abilities, the guy that's a little bit more confident and a little bit more braggadocious, to be brutally honest. I mean, is that something you guys have noticed, that Tua's persona is a little bit different now than we've seen in the past?
Right, absolutely. And a quick note on that throw, which was phenomenal. Now, it was ruled out of bounds by the officials.
Oh, it was?
I know
that's
a lot of
fine.
yes, yeah. The official there was waving his hands toward the sideline, like he'll step out on one of his steps as he came down with it. But still, nonetheless, the spot on the throw was pretty fantastic between two elite DBs, and Xavier Howard, who's already had 3 Pro Bowls, and Javon Holland, who's on that trajectory early in his career, going into a second season. So that doesn't take away anything from the throw, absolutely. But as far as his personality, yes, we've seen it. And Mike McDaniel talked about early in OTAs, some others about him starting to let his guard down. And then some of us, we hadn't seen that yet, so maybe a little skeptical. But then all of a sudden, next time he's in front of us, in front of a microphone with the media scrum after a practice, then we start to see it. He's joking around. He's throwing jabs at his critics and the Twitter warriors, as he calls them, and talking about a throw in practice. And he says, "I don't know, but that looked like money to me." And he's letting this, like you said, braggadocious, this confidence about him, kind of exude, and I think it's translating onto the field. He's playing like it as well. He's not playing timid and like there's this cloud over him. And I don't want to say maybe the first 2 years that we saw, but definitely now you see him kind of like he freed something off of him, and now he's playing more freely.
You think it was the revelation that he had as a secret family? I mean, I don't know if that helped Bartolo Colon when he was with the Mets. That all of a sudden we found out he was living both in Bronx and Queens boroughs at the time with different families. But who knew this guy was married, David? Where did that come from?
Well, I know it started as internet rumor because a photo floated around, a fan photo of him on a golf course or something where he had a wedding band, and everyone said, well, wait a minute, he's married. And then people started looking around, and finally then it got leaked out, and by going through documents and such. And I know he preferred to keep it out of public knowledge. He wanted to keep that private, but it came out, and he had once we started talking about it, then I asked him to change his perspective on anything. He had a funny quip to that. He said, well, I guess no more other girls for me. So even then, something that he wanted to keep private, he was able to show his personality and make this quick witty joke about it. So you see that confidence and personality coming out even then.
Who was the guy from Notre Dame who had the make-believe girlfriend?
Oh, Teo.
Manti Teo.
Yeah. Is he still around, man? That was a weird story, but this one, I don't know if it was quite as mystifying as that turned out to be, but still.
Or is his girlfriend still around?
and naturally, a quarterback in the NFL, it couldn't say anything, no matter how nice of a kid he may be, but without being scrutinized immensely, because then everybody said, well, wait a minute, what kind of guy is this? His big concern about having people know he's married is that he can't be, doing all kinds of, groupies on the road. Because, and you would think that, he probably got a stare down from the wife after this was discovered, and he had that line. So hopefully you're not in the middle of some kind of marital distress there between two and his bride. All right, Stephen Ross, you mentioned Dave Hyde, and I didn't get a chance to see this because I'm ashamed to admit it, and Mike Mayo hates me for this, because I won't ante up the buck for the online version of the Sun-Sentinel. I don't know why, because it keeps popping up like somebody will post a story, social media, and then you click on it, and you have to be a subscriber to read it. So I didn't get a chance to read Dave Hyde's column about Stephen Ross, but what impact, if any, has that had in your perception on the franchise, and is it a big deal, as people are making it?
Well, the franchise itself is exactly what the penalties were. The team loses the first-round pick in the upcoming draft, another future third-rounder for the following draft, the 2024 draft. Steve Ross, the $1.5 million fine, which is a lot of money, some of us will never see in our lives, but to him, that's pretty much chump change, and he'll be suspended for a while up to mid-October. Can't be around the team or NFL events, and Aside from that, I don't see a huge impact on the here and now for the Dolphins. The current coaches, players, a lot of them weren't around when what was found was the tampering allegations, but the tanking allegations that weren't found to be true in 2019. A lot of them weren't around for that. So it's a new coaching staff currently, led by Mike McDaniel. So a lot of the offensive coaches, it's funny, this day after it came out, and we had offensive coaches that we're talking to, and really there was only one that was a holdover from that era, which was the running backs coach Eric Studesville. So he was the only one that getting asked really about that time, and said nothing ever got to his level of asking for taking anything like that. And a lot of the players are new as well. So I think the current team is kind of just, they saw the news when it came out. It really came out during that Tuesday practice last week. So a lot of them were on the field as it was coming down. And I think I remember as I'm starting to write about it and hear the news, get the release. And it kind of felt like the fans in the training camp stands, the energy was drained from it a little bit because everyone was oohing and ahhing of all these different throws and plays made by some of their favorite players, and then kind of energy wasn't the same after that. As you could tell, the news was spreading around the fan base there that was present. But aside from that, I think the team probably just found out once they got off the practice field that day, and then they just moved forward. They're focused on training camp and getting better for this season, and that's really where the emphasis has been. And I don't think it makes too much of an impact for a lot of the players who really don't see Steve Ross that often. He'll show up at games, but around the facility the past year, he hasn't really been around very often that I've seen.
Hey, he might be a jinx. It's possible. When he's up there in the booth, he always looks like he's as despondent as if he just found out that Hudson Yards was going up in smoke, and he had no insurance on the buildings there. But yeah, and then there's a group of guys around him, which sometimes even includes Dan Marino, and they all seem to be trying to appease him that day. Hey, listen, it ain't going to be that bad. Don't worry, Steve. It'll be okay. So maybe you need a little bit of a breather from this, and the Dolphins can possibly get off for a rare change in recent years to a good start. David Furones of the South Florida Sun-Sentinel with us here on the Defo Show. Jeff DeForest, Mike Lubitz. All right. Anything in particular? I mean, is there something that we need to see in the preseason to confirm what Lubie and I both believe should be a better season of Dolphin football? We're surprised that the Las Vegas bookies, people are talking about the strength of schedule and tough division. And, they have the Bills, but, you also have the Patriots and the Jets in that division. So maybe all you need to do is split 2 games with the Bills and you can rack up 5 wins possibly there with what seems to be a far superior roster to anything they've had in recent years. So, what do we need to see in a preseason? I guess, one of the big question marks, or a few of them, is what the Dolphins will do with the linebacker position.
Sure, yeah. Well, defensively, remember, they kept this defense intact from last season. So that hot stretch from the second half of the year that really was anchored by the defense and holding down, albeit a lot of mediocre quarterbacks in that stretch of the schedule, still dominant stretch from the whole second half that we saw, even when they played, let's say, the Ravens and Lamar Jackson, and they were double-digit underdogs at home on a Thursday night and came away with that one. But having that consistency and continuity on defense should help this team. In recent practices, we've seen them incorporate more of their blitzes, which I wrote about while early in camp there was a lot of vanilla coverages. So kind of getting closer to that in-season form that we're going to see from the defense. I know you mentioned linebackers. Inside linebacker was a spot that a lot of people wanted to see an upgrade for maybe an established veteran to get put in there. The team didn't go that route, but kept Landon Roberts, Jerome Baker, who could play inside and outside. Channing Tindall was drafted, a rookie out of Georgia in the 3rd round. So he's an addition, but not an established veteran that is an immediate plug and play to allow for that. Duke Riley also in that group. who can rotate in and out. And then what you want to see in the preseason, I would say, well, you're going to see a couple of drives from the first team offense probably, especially first preseason game. So Tua Tagovailoa and Tyreek Hill, let's see if they hit a big play. Let's see if Mike Gesicki gets involved in this new offense, which it inclines more for the tight end to be blocking in the run game. You want to see the run game work, which is a staple of the Mike McDaniel offense, the outside zone scheme that was so effective in San Francisco, and now bring it as his own in Miami. On the offensive line, we want to see Teron Armstead anchor that line at left tackle and how that looks blocking up front. And then now Connor Williams, the other free agent addition that was brought in, who was a 4-year guard in the NFL. He's transitioning to center. Yeah, some of his snaps have been erratic, although none so egregious to the point where a ball hits the ground or goes over the quarterback's head, but still enough to disrupt some plays. So you want to make sure he has that intact. And then after the starters, you're going to see a lot of the backups come in and start to see who are some of the guys that are making a move for those final roster spots. So that's what's really going to be exciting about this preseason slate.
Hey, well illustrated by David Furones, South Florida Sun-Sentinel on the Dolphin beat. Now the solo guy. I mean, it's fantastic. A meteoric rise there through the ranks at the Sun-Sentinel. We appreciate you coming on the show. You also mentioned one of our other favorite things that you hear during the preseason when you dropped in the word vanilla, because that seems to be, the post-game press conference after every game with the losing coach. Yeah, well, we were very vanilla tonight. You're going to see something else when we start playing for real. So as we try to justify, the reason to play preseason games, period. David, very good job. Thanks so much for being with us. Very illuminating, as we said. And we'll talk to you again soon, I hope, and throughout the season frequently as we try to track the Miami Dolphins here on the Defo Show. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, guys. Anytime.
Thanks, David.
All right, David Furones, man. He rattled off some names there, Lubie.
Yes, sir.
Holy shit, did that guy know his stuff? That was great.
I love that Kelly's leaving. Omar Kelly's leaving to go do the podcast full time. So there you go. See, we're not the only ones with that mentality.
It's a great idea if you can make it work, man. I mean, you can't find a better situation. So, and some of the technical issues today, unfortunate, but, pay your internet bill, Libby. All right, we're coming back with more right in a moment. We'll wrap things up here on Peel Yourself Off the Mat Monday. A lot of fun being with you. Is that true? Is Little League Baseball the second most crooked sport on the planet today? And now that they're pandering to, this would be good. This would be interesting. How many DraftKings and FanDuel ads will you see during the Little League Baseball games? See, it's all starting to connect back to, you want to snare a degenerate at the most raw essence of his youth or her youth, okay? And, they're encouraging a lot of women to bet, right? And I believe women are like sending it in at a higher ratio. I think Sarni sent me something about that. A higher ratio than even men at this point. That could be because they're signing up more frequently, but a lot of guys had accounts. I guess that would make a difference. And the women, of course, induced by various bonus money that's being offered, are just like, hey, what the hell, man? First bet's free. That's how they get you. All right, coming back with more in a moment. Not that we mind. I mean, we're fully advocating going out and betting your brains out on virtually every sporting event. It makes it a hell of a lot more interesting. That's for sure. Sandy Alcantara at minus 275. You can get Edwin Diaz at 80-1 for the Cy Young. What do you think?
Oh, God.
Does Alcantara have a couple of poor outings, lose favor with the people that cast these ballots, and Diaz continues to strike out 3 guys on 9 pitches every time he comes into a ball game as the Mets win the National League East? And, wow, that's it, right? MVP 80-1, Diaz? He's got to leapfrog a ton of guys on the odds board there. I guess these guys know what they're talking about. All right, back with more in a moment. Now that.
The time.
The Static Fest today. It's 8:55.
Folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously. Friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs, unmatched. Steaks, hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Recently, we realized it's not just hurricane season that can hurt us. Any time of year, things can happen to your home or business. And the insurance company can be your friend, but they also can be your enemy. Horizon Public Adjusters, Justina Testa, are here for you to help this process go so much easier. Before you call the insurance company, call Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa at 954-809-8752. Would you go into court without an attorney? So why would you go up against an insurance company without Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa? 7 to 10 times more money recovered with a public adjuster than if you went on your own. If there's no recovery, there's no fee. Give them a call at 954-809-8752. Why go up against insurance companies alone when you can have Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa on your side?
I have sinned against you, my Lord.
The only way to get your morning started is with Defo, joined by Lubie, right here on The Defo Show.
All right, been great being with you all morning long, and I'm curious how much action there'll be on these Little League baseball games. Will there be a FanDuel commercial? There has to be, right? During the course of the playing of Little League baseball. And will Rob Manfred be on hand to tell you, hey, listen, man, it's not too soon to start betting on these guys. Now, would that force them to actually establish real and verifiable and certifiable birth certificates? Is that possible? Or, I mean, how many phony birth certificates do you think are going to be involved in this year's Little League World Series? I don't know, man.
We haven't heard
they
about
provided
that.
a team with shaving cream. I mean, come on. What the hell is that? It's not to make a pie. Joo-Hyung Kim. Have you heard of this guy?
No.
Joo-Hyung Kim. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. They call him Tom Kim. He blisters the course yesterday in North Carolina and shoots a 61 to run away with the Wyndham Championship. But guess who finished fifth in the field, Lubie? Guess who finished fifth? One of our favorite fat guys in sports.
Shut up.
Affy Barnrat. There was a Barnrat sighting. A Barnrat sighting. At one time, I thought this kid had some promise, but there he is back all of a sudden. And, wow, I bet you could have got a pretty sweet price there that Affy Barnrat would be in the top 5, which is another way of betting golf that also it's kind of like making it's not really like making a show bet, though, Lubie. What would it be like? I don't know, boxing 2 horses in an exacta where, you put Affy Barnrat into the top 5, or you bet a guy to finish in the top 5. Not win it, but top 5. What do you think? Is that hedging your bet a little bit?
Yeah, but
you still got a decent price, though. Yeah, you still got a decent price on stuff like that. So, Kiridesh Affy Barnrat. We could have laid a couple of hundred on Kiridesh Affy Barnrat. And I don't know. Has he shed any pounds since the last time we saw him? I didn't get a chance to see any of this particular golf tournament. Was it even televised, or were they televising? It's only a matter of time before the networks take the Saudi money and televise the Live Tour without sponsorship. It'd be like the Masters that year, right? When Martha Burke was out there hollering, "They're racists, they're pigs." Well, we knew that. I mean, here, Martha, have a cheese and pimento sandwich and go.
Exactly.
That's pretty much her. Yeah, we'll televise the thing without commercials. We don't care. Boycott all of our sponsors. You.
Exactly.
What do you think, Hootie? Hootie held back at whatever press conferences. I mean, you talk about biting your tongue. What did he really want to say about Martha Burke? Will we ever know that? Mike Lubie-Lubitz. Did Hootie check out? I don't think so. Hootie Johnson.
I don't think
used to be the head of Augusta National. Now there's some other guy.
Anymore. Yeah, he's not in charge anymore, but he didn't die.
Yeah. Is he still a member? Can he still play? What is a membership like when they're out there on a
Oh,
good
he did
Saturday?
die. You actually were right.
Who'd he gun, man? I told you he rolled a
2017,
7.
In 2017, he passed. Yeah.
Oh well, left behind a great legacy of humanitarian gestures,
God.
and understanding and warmth. The
Uh-huh.
concept of come on, people, now smile on your brother. Everybody get together, try to love one another right now. All right. On that note, that philosophical note, we will leave you, Youngbloods. That was many years ago. Good little tune there. That sounded like the theme for the Twilight Zone. All right, Mike Mayo coming up with the Lunchbox. The Gambling Gourmet also does Mike Mayo's Lunchbox here on South Florida Live. That's 12 o'clock every day. I believe Friday. Tom Tanazzini, man. I mean, for me to want to schlep up to Lake Worth.
I'm going. Yeah, we're going. I'm in.
Man. I mean,
I'm trying to get the professor
a part of
involved.
that. Wow.
I'm trying to get the professor involved because he loves some good New Orleans fare, and if I don't bring him, he'd be mad.
I'm gonna have to. I gotta re-up my prescription for indomethacin, man, because I'm gonna have some of those grilled oysters. They look absolutely fantastic, man.
You know, he does boudin balls, which I've never even heard of. I know boudin, but boudin balls, like he does the whole thing. He does the po' boys. He does the whole shebang. Etouffee.
I know, and Mayo, you know, I think he's going to stop eating like he's going to the chair. I think he this medical experience gave him like an eye opener to the idea that, you know what, it's okay to get out there and, you know, play some ball.
There you go.
You know, just step away from the table there for a while. I mean, I should talk. I've been battling this my whole life. So, you know, but I still like getting out there, you know, doing stuff. All right. We have to run. We'll see you tomorrow at 7 in the a.m. We're also on the Believe Podcast Network. I guess they just call it the Believe Network. That's BLEAV. We'll have some offerings there, and you can catch the archive. And, of course, see you at 12 o'clock on South Florida Live with the Mike Mayo Lunchbox, and that's always a pleasure to get involved there. I think he had just an absolute, like, wall-to-wall degenerate weekend for the second weekend in a row. He's realizing the beauties of having your kids get a little older and not being involved in any kind of restrictive relationship where you can just do whatever the fuck you want. It's great. It's great. No, it really is. Gurgles. Perfect example. All right. We'll see you tomorrow at 7 as we leave it on that.
The time.
It's 9:03.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my soul.